Hi, I will be presenting about sumo wrestling today. Sumo wrestling is full contact wrestling unique to Japan as it is also the country's national sport. The characters for sumo literally mean striking one another, and as it may appear to many people as just two fat men in loincloth pushing against each other, sumo is more intricate than it seems and is actually very interesting. Sumo dates back to more than 2,000 years ago, but really gained its popularity as a spectator sport supposedly in the early 1600s. Sumo was originally used in Shinto religion as a performance to entice the Shinto deities called kami. Integrated into sumo wrestling are Shinto purification rituals such as throwing of salt before a match that are still practiced in tournaments today. Professional sumo is governed by the Japanese Sumo Association. 6 tournaments are held annually, 3 in Tokyo, which occur in January, May, and September, 1 in Osaka in March, 1 in Nagoya in July, and 1 in Fukuoka in November. Each tournament lasts a total of 15 days, where rikishis, or the wrestlers, perform in one match per day. The day is structured so that the highest ranked contestants appear at the end of the day, and the wrestler who wins the most matches during the tournament wins the tournament division for his division. Rikishi from the same stable or rikishis who are brothers are prohibited from challenging each other in a regular match. The last day of the tournament is called Senshuraku, which is the pleasure of 1,000 autumns, where final matches are held and the champion is declared. The Emperor's Cup is presented to the champion of the top division along with other prizes. Moving on, now I would like to talk about Banzuke or ranking, which is the hierarchical ranking of sumo wrestlers, which is constantly updated after evaluating a wrestler's performance after each tournament. The top division is Makuuchi and the second division is Juryo. The lowest division is Jonokuchi, and every wrestler starts at the bottom and they work their way up by winning more matches. The highest rank a wrestler can attain is Yokozuna. Yokozunas can't be demoted, but they'll be asked to retire when their performances start to worsen. And in each rank, there are 2 wrestlers, the West and the East, with the East being much more superior than the West. Here is a simple chart of the ranking or Banzuke, where you have the Yokozuna at the top and Jonokuchi at the bottom. There is more wrestlers in the lower divisions than there are in the upper divisions. The rules of sumo wrestling is basically the wrestler who first exits the rings or touches the ground with any body part other than his feet loses. Actual matches rarely go on for more than a minute. Usually it just takes a couple of seconds. Using an illegal technique or having mawashi or the belt become completely undone could result in a loss. And since there is no weight divisions in sumo wrestling, sometimes sumo wrestlers could face a competitor twice their size. Moving on. Here you can see an example of the ring, which is also called dohyo in Japanese. The ring is elevated and it's 15 feet in diameter, which is made out of clay mixed with sand. A new ring is created before every tournament by bout callers. And at the center of the ring, there are two white lines where the wrestlers position themselves right before a match. And above the ring, a roof similar to a Shinto shrine may hang. A ring is very sacred to sumo wrestling as it was sacred to the Shinto religion way back when. So there are many rituals and traditions held within the ring, which I would go over in my next slide. Okay, traditions. Men are the only ones allowed to become sumo wrestlers. In fact, women are forbidden from even entering the ring. Before the match, wrestlers throw salt into the ring for purification, as the dohyo is seen as a sacred place. The rikishis wear their hair in a top knot and cloth around their center area. Referees are dressed like a samurai many of hundreds of years ago. The winner of a match gives water called chikara mizu to the next one on his side. They do not drink it, but spit it out into a bucket. And each day of the tournament, a ring ceremony is held where each wrestler's body and spirit undergoes purification. Before a match, the wrestlers will spend a couple of minutes lifting their legs and stomping them to chase away demons. These traditions have been practiced since the Edo period and take up the most time in a tournament rather than the matches itself. So, sumo wrestling matches are more about the purification and the rituals that's been practiced for hundreds and hundreds of years, rather than just two men trying to push each other out of the ring. Now that I've talked about the rules and the ring and the tournament, now it's time to talk about the wrestlers themselves and their life. Sumo wrestlers are required to live in stables called heya, where the mules to outfits have to fit a strict traditional requirement. Depending on rank, wrestlers have different dress codes, with the higher ranked ones with better quality clothing and more clothing to cover themselves. The lowest ranked wrestlers have to get up the earliest, 5 a.m. daily for training. When the higher ranked wrestlers are training, the junior wrestlers have chores to do such as cooking or cleaning. Training goes from stretching to practice bouts, where it is common for a wrestler to keep challenging until they are beaten. And for lunch, it's the same as with the ranking. So higher ranked wrestlers eat before the lower ranked. And their lunch is usually chankonabe. It's a stew of meat, fish, and vegetables that is eaten with rice and drank down with beer. And after a big lunch and not having breakfast, wrestlers are expected to take naps that will allow them to put on the weight that they need to be successful. And so moving on into more of the sumo wrestler's life, talk about their salary. Unless they are actual wrestlers in an actual division, they are only given small allowances instead of salaries. However, yokozunas can make up to around $30,000 monthly in that rank. It's a lot. And wrestlers used to be all Japanese born, coming from a family of sumo wrestlers, but there has been a greater population of foreign sumo wrestlers. As you can see, there is a very diverse group of sumo wrestlers coming from different countries in Asia and also from the Western Hemisphere. Um, there's some interesting facts I learned while doing my research about sumo wrestling. Sumo wrestlers used to be skinny originally, but now with greater weight, the greater advantage a wrestler could have over its opponent due to like their strength. Sumo wrestlers dance when they perform their rituals, as it is rhythmic and stylized to fit that sumo wrestler. Older people are the most popular audience at a sumo tournament, mostly being older than 50. The Japanese Sumo Association forbids women from entering the ring as it would break tradition and it would um, dishonor the sacred place. And for a very long time, Yokozunas have been foreign sumo wrestlers and not Japanese. And the most interesting fact I probably found out through my research is fans are allowed to throw cushions into the ring at disappointment of calls and whatnot. I think that's very interesting because then it makes it more entertaining and the fans get really involved in this sport. So I hope with the information I presented, sumo wrestling is way more interesting and much more complicated than it may appear to be, that there's a lot that goes into a sumo wrestler preparing for a match and what occurs before and after a match is really just as important as the match itself. With that, I hope that sumo wrestling in your eyes has changed in a better and positive way. Thank you.